Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, and also Congressman McGarvey. Obviously, we want to extend our condolences and our sympathy to all the victims of this tragedy. We also want to extend our deepest gratitude to first responders and utility crews who have worked tirelessly in the face of this tragedy. MSD's environmental response team began immediately after the UPS plane crash on November 4th. We responded and were ready to mobilize within 90 minutes after the crash, and the men and women of our industrial waste division began to monitor the nearby waterways for potentially contamination and runoff from the explosion and implement temporary mitigation efforts. And it was because of their quick response, they placed floating booms that absorb oil and affect waterways, such in areas such as Northern Ditch. Runoff is primarily located in the Pond Creek watershed. The Northern Ditch, which is the further north in the Big Ditch, and the Southern Ditch, and all these interconnected waterways eventually drain down to the Ohio River. Fortunately, with the response that we were able to employ, and also the day after with EPA and others arriving to the site, and so many collaborative efforts really allowed us to assess things, particularly as daylight began on Wednesday morning. On Wednesday morning, we did discover our nearby Melco drainage basin was impacted by the runoff from the crash site. And one of the things that I think is very clear for the public to understand is that that basin has been isolated ever since. And so everything that has collected in that basin did not release to the waterways. So as the mayor mentioned, because of our quick action and our ability to isolate that basin, we were able to save a lot of, or contain a lot of oil and a lot of runoff from the plane crash site. On Wednesday morning early, a contractor from UPS began to lead the cleanup effort, and obviously MSD has been there to support not only the contractor, but EPA, the Kentucky Division of Water, and also local EMA to work together to assess, and we continue to assess the environmental impact of this. Last week, we did put out an advisory out of an extreme caution, asking the community to avoid contact with the waterways in the southern part of Jefferson County due to potentially contaminated runoff. That advisory, although precautionary, is still in effect, and we are still asking people to avoid contact with waterways, especially along Pond Creek, the Northern Ditch, and Southern Ditch. However, there is no impact to the drinking water in those areas, and unless you've been contacted by Louisville Water, you should not be concerned about your drinking water. We ask folks to avoid touching, swimming, fishing, or kayaking, or interacting in those waterways in any fashion, and keep your pets away from the water as well. If you see oil, debris, or discoloration in the waterway, please report it to MSD by contacting our customer relations at 502-540-6000 or email us at customerrelations@louisvillemsd.org. We will continue to work with EMA, also EPA, and others, and continue our assessment of the waterways over the next several weeks. And so until then, that advisory that we put out on Friday will remain in effect, and we will continue our assessment and update the public accordingly as we learn more.